Today we're going to actually do an unboxing and initial review of the new HB250 from Hasty Bake. This is the Pro Edition, specifically designed for the SCA. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed and see what we think about it. So the box is actually in pretty good condition, especially considering it came all the way from Oklahoma. But let me just go ahead and get it open. We'll see if we can get this thing out. It says it weighs 40 pounds in the box, so it's a heavy little grill. So here's what it looks like when we first open it up. Not a whole lot in here. We'll kind of take these pieces out, but it looks like it's pretty well wrapped in that saran wrap. So we've got a packing list, which looks like it's what they use to put in everything. Make sure you've got all you need, and an assembly instruction, so we'll hold on to that. Important tool, grill grate spatula for the grill grates that come with the HB250 Pro. So this is everything that came in the box, minus a couple pieces of foam. You got your instructions, you got the Hasty Bake, which seems probably about 95% assembled. Grill grate spatula, I'm assuming this is the grill grates because it's pretty heavy, and then probably a couple other pieces. So we'll get this opened up and get it put together. Right here, these are the legs. They're actually still covered in the protective coating to keep them from scratching. Now all that's left is to get this thing unwrapped. One thing I can say is everything is very well packaged. The box was very neat, very organized, very tightly fitting, and so they definitely want to make sure that it gets here safely and without getting damaged. Now here is actually where it looks like we've got our parts at. So we've got our handle right here. Looks like a decent handle. Our other handle and accessories. And here's the grill grates. Now these are not made by Hasty Bake. These are made by Grill Grate, the company. It's actually located here in Georgia. And so they partnered up with them. And so if you kind of look at the inside of this thing, I mean, it's very clean. You've got some high temperature sealant right here in the corners. Everything is welded. I don't see any bolts or screws. The only things I see is like one rivet right here. High quality stuff, which I already knew before it got here, but I want to point these things out to you guys. You can see how the lid's designed with weld rivets and things like that. So, I mean, to me, it looks really good right out of the box. I don't see any damage. So let me finish getting this foam out from underneath here and we'll start putting this thing together. So now we're just going to put the 4 feet on. This is probably the biggest part of the assembly. Each one of these feet has a little film on it to kind of protect it. You can see how shiny this is. And so just make sure you take that off before you put it on. But all it's going to do is it's going to mount inside here. and we're just going to put a screw in with a lock nut and a washer on the other side, and we'll do that for all 4 legs. So I'm not going to sit here and make you guys watch me do each individual leg, but I'll probably do a fast forwarded part of this video just so you can kind of get an idea of how it's going together. So we got the legs on, probably took 5 minutes at the most. Now we're just going to follow step number 2. We're going to put the handle on, and we'll probably just kind of keep working through these steps, just putting these couple little handles on, and then afterwards going to give you a good overview, show you the firebox really well, and give you some good overall dimensions. So let's get this handle put on. One thing I noticed as I was just kind of putting stuff on here is once you get kind of down to the bottom of the parts, there's these little small lock washers. Didn't even realize were there at first. The instructions don't mention anything about them, but the only common sense thing is that they belong on this handle and on this handle. And so I'm actually going back to add it to these. Just make sure to put them in there. That way you don't have loose handles and having to keep tightening stuff down. This will kind of help it stay tight. Alright, so here are the internal components of the Hasty Bake. You know, like this is the deflector. If you watch Hasty Bake's video, it actually says it's going to come with a protective film on it that you have to take off. It didn't for some reason, even though the feet did. And honestly, it's a little bit beat up. It's not bent, it's not, you know, dented, but there's scratches all over it. Not that it matters, right? This is the internal components of the grill. The outside of this grill is virtually flawless, and so until I mess it up, it's going to look nice and pretty. But there are a couple scratches I just wanted to go ahead and note just from machining and things like that. Actually, when I was taking this stuff out of the wrapping just a minute ago, I told Brianna, this is one of the highest quality charcoal grates that I've ever seen. Of course, I haven't owned a lot of high quality, like high-end grills yet, but this has got to be a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch stainless steel rod welded into this charcoal grate, and it probably weighs 5 to 7 pounds on itself. So we're going to go ahead and show you the internal configuration of this and how it's intended to run, and kind of just note some things, and we'll just kind of go from there and get this thing put together and ready to burn off tomorrow. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this firebox up. It's a little stiff right now, but that's good. Okay. And one of the things that they mentioned in their video, I'd suggest you watch it, is this clip right here. It actually has to be tempered by the grill itself, so it might actually bend out a little bit, and you have to bend it back the first couple cooks. So if you notice your door getting loose when it's hot, reach in there with a welding glove and just pull it up a little bit. But that's because it's too small to temper in the factory. So the very top level of this thing is this right here. It's a heat diverter. And so you're going to protect whatever's above this, and you're going to let the charcoal heat directly hit this side. So if you look, this is about the perfect size for a steak. If you're using this just for steak cooking, this is going to be perfect for getting your sear marks and then moving it indirect on this side. They suggest you do your sear on the left side so that you kind of protect this badge from that just really drastic high heat, even though this does have a heat shield on it. But it's going to be perfect because this is almost the perfect space for a SCA steak. And so what you do is you just take this right up here in this top shelf, and you just slide it in. That's how far you got to do it, okay? Now we'll go ahead and do the bottom. This is just your ash pan. It's just going to rest on the bottom down here on these. Slide it in. And so now, as far as the inside, this is your charcoal basket. And so all we got to do is put that in. Now, if you really like to cook close to your charcoal, you do not have to have this diverter in here. It's one of the reasons why I went with this grill, was because if for some reason I did want to cook something else on it, it would have room to do a couple burgers, or you know it. So we'll just go ahead and close that up, and then we'll take a look at the inside. All right, so the internal configuration, it just has three things. You have your regular expanded metal style charcoal or cooking grates that you can put on top. This is in case you wanted to use it to do something other than your grill grates, or you wanted to cook some chicken or some burgers in here. And so you just drop these in. Let's see. I believe it goes that way. We're going to find out, aren't we? Yes, I believe so. So I may be wrong on this here in a minute, but I'm thinking that this lip right here, because you got a lip here and a lip here going down and up. I'm thinking that lip on the front is meant to keep the grill grates from sliding forward and backwards. So we're going to see if that works, and if not, we'll just flip it over. Okay, and that's a pretty good little cooking grate. I mean, you could cook 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 burgers on there if you wanted to. So it can be used for other things as well. But let's move on to the grill grates. There is nothing as pretty as a brand new set of aluminum grill grates. Now, if you've never used these before, at first I thought they weren't all the hype, and now it's virtually all I cook on. It gives you really good grill marks when you want to go for that appearance, or you flip it over to the back, and I've done smash burgers on the back of some of these many times. It just gets so hot it gives you a good sear, but you got to kind of fold it in right here, or you can slide it in from the end. That keeps them from separating. And then you're just going to take them and set them in. Okay, and we'll just take this one and we'll just slide it in from the front, since we've already got them sitting in there. So it looks like everything fits. Now, I think this piece is actually really cool. This is like kind of your indirect area. For me, I'll be cooking really hot on this side, and I'm actually going to keep this off the grill until I'm ready to put my steak indirect. That way this is not hot as well. And I'm just going to take it and we'll set it over in the side like this. And now I can put my steak here. Remember, I've got a heat protection barrier right here with that heat diverter. And so I'm only going to get convection cooking. I'm not going to get that direct cooking, so I can finish to the perfect temp. But that's it, fully assembled. And so let's close it up and see how it looks. So here's everything closed up. Is it heavy? Yeah, it's pretty heavy. They say it weighs about 30 pounds on its own, but as you saw, I can pick it up off the thing. It's probably not good for my rotator cuff, but I can pick it up off this with one hand. So it's good, it's sturdy. We'll just go over just a couple more little features about this thing, and then tomorrow in the second video, we'll go ahead and do a burn off and kind of see how the temperature control is. See, right now you only see one set of vents on this grill, and you may not have even realized that's what that was. That's what these flaps right here are. You have 5 holes to run your intake with, and you actually have it split right here in the middle, where you could run 2.5, or you could run, this one at a half and that one closed. You could run all of them a third or 3/4 of the way open. It's pretty flexible with how you can run that. We'll see how that works with temperature control tomorrow. But it actually, what it does is it comes in all the way at the bottom of the grill, goes into the charcoal, it goes up into the hood and circulates around, and then actually on the back here, the exhaust vents are just below grate level. So you can't it's not just going to go up and out. You're going to get that convection cooking, and from what I've seen from guys that I've watched and learned from in the SCA, is that convection cooking, that circulation of air is what gives you really good color on your steaks. And so I'm interested to see how that works. But other than that, I mean, that's the majority of the grill. You've got a door here, you've got vents here, you got vents on the back, and you got a lid right here. And so tomorrow, like I said, we're gonna get out here. I'm going to do a burn-in, get it seasoned pretty well. And then when I do that, I'm going to see how long it burns that charcoal, that one charcoal chimney, and what the temperatures are looking like, and what I can do to kind of affect that, see how much control I can get. But other than that, guys, tune into the second video, and then we will see you next time.